Welcome back to the studio. If you're in a bad mood, grrr, I get it. Sometimes that's just how things are, and good job for even trying to get out of it by clicking on this video. Sometimes resisting a bad mood can just kind of push it in deeper. By sometimes, I mean pretty much all the time. And I'm talking just one of those bad moods where it's like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm just not feeling so good, as opposed to something specific happening that has stressed you out. Or maybe it's a combination of both, but I'm glad you're here because we're gonna unbad moodify ourselves together as we paint some mushrooms in metallic paints. I think we're gonna do alternating gold and silver. And I am gonna just let you watch this and kind of settle into your mood. Like, I think the first part is just accepting I'm having one of those. The sooner you do that, the sooner you can then start to get out of it. But if you're having a hard time getting out of it, there's no pressure or reason to feel bad for that because it's totally natural. Bad moods are hard to get out of. Otherwise, why would they be such a thing, you know? So, in this video, just let yourself feel what you're feeling. It's totally fine. Scowl your face. Doesn't even matter. And I'm gonna tell you some of my favorite ways that I try and get out of a bad mood when I have one. As you probably know, I have this big pile of all the Post-it notes of quotes that I like to read when I need to feel certain things, and we have this little series of videos on my favorite quotes on topics, and today's is obviously getting out of a bad mood. So I've compiled my favorite things I will tell myself, most of which are attributed to some great thought leaders that we'll get into. And you just vibe and watch the mushrooms, which I know I've seen a lot of requests for people wanting polka dot mushrooms. And we'll do that too one day, but I kind of felt like doing these today. Not really sure why. This one's a little bit of a curvy one. And then we're going to give it a stalk, kind of like a magical little garden over here, using my number 2 brush. And then these paints are from Lena Bean's studio. I think they have really good metallics. I'll link everything that I can. So this mushroom hat, probably not the term, I know. It's gonna go under here like this and then connect and come back, and we can just kind of make it up. Anyways, let's get into these thoughts, shall we? So the first thing I like to remind myself is that it's a bad mood like a cloud over us, you know? It's not that the world is totally ending, although sometimes it does feel like that, doesn't it? But Prema Chodron said, I'm probably saying not right, said, sorry, focusing there. You are the sky, everything else is just the weather. And I love that phrase because it's so true. The sky is always, unless it's dark out, just blue. And then the clouds are between us and the sky. Like, you know when you go on an airplane and then you go above the sky and it was above the clouds and it was such a rotten day, and then you get up there and it's quite nice. You're like, wait, what? Why? Especially this happens in LA when there's that marine layer all the time. You get above it and you're like, can you just go away, clouds? Like, it's really killing the vibe. That's exactly like bad moods in our minds, to me anyway. Like, whatever is happening is just the weather, and you are the sky, and you are always blue, and sometimes we just have to weather it. No pun intended. A similar thought process is from Paul Coelho, who said, the sun is always there. Sometimes you just have to find the gaps in the clouds to see it. And it's the exact same concept, but I don't know, maybe that visual will hit better for you, depends on the person. But the whole point of these things is that it's an external factor. Like, it's not you, it's the situation. And I think knowing that at least really helps me to separate myself from it. And then that separation is the first step to kind of moving past it. So we have these mushrooms at different angles. This one has a huge hat, and I don't really love how that angle went down. There we go. Let's do a little mini baby one right here. Maybe a very pointy guy. These look like those little Japanese chocolate mushrooms, candies that I really like. And then we're going to, when we get to the Zen doodling, we're going to do the lines outside in alternating colors, kind of like we did with the mustache. So if we get to a point where we're using gold and it should turn silver or vice versa, we will just swap our color. You will see what I mean. I do, before we do that, want to get one here though, just to balance out the composition. These paints are so metallic. I'm just obsessed with them. We just did on live the other day, this one. And this is on black paper, and see how well the silver looks? It's just so opaque, it's phenomenal. And then let's do one last little one here. I'm kind of thinking silver is going to be the move, and I want it to be quite a wide one. So I'm going to start with the base, and then we'll take this up and over. And then we'll make a nice chunky little stand like that. Look at the paint water. Ooh, beautiful. So I think what we'll do is the same color inside each shape that we've made. So we can start doing that up here. So now that we have clarified that we are the sky, whatever mood that's happening, that's going on, is the clouds, and they, by definition of clouds, will pass, we can kind of move into the thought that, well, in realizing that, we've become kind of present in how we stand in our perspective on the world, right? And this thought is kind of, a lot of people have said it in different ways, and I don't know who exactly to contribute it to, but this way that I'll tell you right now is from Gabriella Gatta in a Medium article. But it's very Eckhart Tolle, Michael Singer, all that kind of vibe. What is it, Lizzie? I will tell you. So she said, be present enough to transcend your resistance. So the resistance is this bad mood feeling, and to transcend it is to move yourself from the perspective that you have right now into the clouds above them, and then to see everything from above. And that is such a valuable skill and perspective to have, because it brings you that separation. And so I think that's just a nice way to summarize it too. Be present enough to transcend your resistance. I'm now going to move into this side bit of this mushroom. Can you see the shimmeriness from where you are? I hope so. I'm going to pull this around, thickening it up just to be consistent. And then this is going to kind of make a little bit of a raindrop shape. So you might be thinking like, yeah, these are all nice things to think, but I am currently in the clouds, and that's okay. You don't need to pressure yourself to get out of it faster than you're able to. It's just a nice place to think about getting to mentally. Another person who is so fabulous in this category is Brene Brown, and she of course said there is no joy without gratitude. So you can't actually enjoy whatever it is that you're doing unless you have gratitude for that moment. So for example, I am sitting here in my studio, nice little somewhat chilly afternoon, and I'm having a great time because I love watching the paint flow, and I love using these silvery paints, and I like reminiscing on all these quotes I have that help me feel better about things, and I of course love slowing down. Someone else who might not enjoy slowing down, doesn't see the benefit of it all, could do the exact same activity and not get the positivity from it. Maybe it's just not the right activity for them. That's totally fine. Not saying everyone would have to enjoy this, but I'm saying someone who could have the potential to enjoy this might not if they don't appreciate it, really. And joy is something that comes from within you. It's not an external thing that's bestowed on you. So let me just get around this corner. Okay, smooth, I'm into it. Your joy is fueled by your outlook on things, and gratitude is the best way to have a nice outlook, I would say. So I am really grateful that I'm taking the time to do this. You might be really grateful that you are taking the time to watch this. Maybe you're painting along, and you might be like, still in a bad mood, Lizzie. That's okay. I'm not trying to personally take you out of the bad mood, although I would love that. I'm just trying to give you some tools to see the mood in other ways so that you can then choose what to do with it. Because ultimately, how you feel and how you see things is your choice, which we will get more into as we get throughout these mushrooms and all these words. But I want to crisp up that guy too. So if someone isn't taking joy from something, it's simply their loss. Like, there's so many things we can find joy in. One of my favorites to remember is that when I'm on my own, I don't have to factor in anyone else's feelings or emotions, because I do that a little too much. And so if I'm ever feeling lonely, which I don't really feel lonely, like I like to be by myself, but I'm like, okay, well, what exactly is good about this moment? It's I can just be totally free with how I am and not need to factor in the thoughts of anyone else. So there's always some kind of silver lining to things. Oh, Ryan has entered the studio and rocked the table. Hey, Ryan. How's it going? So here we have an interesting little corner. I'm going to get into it as far as I can with the tip of my brush, and then press down as we move out to get the same thickness I've been doing the rest with. And making my way around, and then kind of the same thing, but not all the way from this side because we don't want to overlap. We have enough going on. And this is gonna spread things out. Okay, let's move on to our next thought, shall we? I hope at least one of these resonates with you, because bad moods are so annoying and I just want you to get out of it. And this one is from a song in Mary Poppins Returns, and it's that life is a balloon that tumbles or rises depending on what's inside. Fill it with hope. I wish I could sing that, but one, copyright. Two, I don't really sing. But it's a great message. The point is, sorry, I had to focus. The point is, what's in your balloon completely changes how it operates in the world, whether it's rising, whether it's falling, whether it's staying still. And again, you have the power to fill it with whatever you want, which, oh, I'm aware, is much easier said than done. Let's thicken that up a little. It's kind of not looking so cute to me. But I like that one because it's very visual. Like I can really imagine a balloon just kind of falling and sinking and being drab, and then I can see one rising and having a nice little time in the garden. And it's the same object, it's just about what's inside. And what's inside is, dun, 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 your perspective. Which is similar to my next thought from Byron Katie, who is also phenomenal, who says, who would you be without that thought? So often bad moods can stem from a certain thought, which aren't even always true. I mean, it might be something that somebody said, you overheard them, or they said to you, and they might think it's true, but it might not actually be true. For example, oh, Lizzie's cat is so weird. That might upset me if I hear someone say that, but I know my cat, and even though he doesn't really want to get in the video right now, I know that he's not weird. But also, if we really sink a layer into it, I know that he is weird, and I love him for it. So it's a different, what they said and how I interpret it is a different thing. Does that make sense? Basically, a thought, even if it's something you told yourself that you've kind of just made up through lots of rumination, which happens to me all the time, can bring suffering. And releasing that thought from your mind, in turn, releases the suffering. So in asking, who would you be without that thought? Someone without that suffering. And sometimes that's enough to just say, you know what? Goodbye, thought. You are so unbelievably unnecessary today, and I don't want you anymore. This looks like an eyes, and a nose, and a hat, doesn't it? It's kind of funny. So we'll get in here, and we'll pull this across. Sometimes when I'm in a bad mood, I just make it extra, like instead of walking, I'll stomp, because I just feel like it moves the mood out of my body and into the floor, and it expedites the process. I don't want to fill that in because it's too small. It's too similar to the inside of that one, you know? So, a kind of summary of that, and that a lot of these people I'm mentioning say, is just the concept not to incubate a bad thought. So it's kind of like, you know how people say worrying is manifesting on a bad outcome? Like, don't give it the real estate in your mind, especially if it's not true. Do you know for sure that it's true? Probably not. So just don't, like, incubation, I like visual examples, obviously. An incubation is when you keep something really warm and cozy so that it can flourish. And by giving all this time to certain thoughts that might not serve you in any way, you're incubating them. And when you're incubating them, you're using your resources to warm up things that are upsetting you, as opposed to a thought that could make you feel happier. So don't waste your resources. They're limited. That filled in really nicely in there. I like that one. So Eckhart Tolle, who is going to come up a lot today because he rocks, said that the past has no power over our present moment. And it's true. Like, it might have happened and there might be kind of some snowball that's leaning into what's happening now, but in reality, this present moment is completely different. And if you don't want the past to cloud it, shut the door, lock it, throw away the key. We don't need to bring something that brought us down into our present moment just because we had it in our past moment. You know, like sometimes the best way to get something off your to-do list is just to take it off the to-do list and not do it. Obviously, of course, if no one else is relying on it and it's not important, blah, blah, but I always find I have something on my to-do list that sits there and I'm staring at it. I'm like, ugh. Then I'm like, I actually don't need to do this. This is just me busybodying. Goodbye. And it kind of releases the weight and heaviness on things. So that's kind of the concept there. He also said that the primary cause of our unhappiness is never actually the situation, but your thoughts around it, which is, I feel like I am kind of saying the same thing in so many different ways, just because I know I do this a lot, but one way might hit for someone and not someone else. So I'm just trying to like 360 it so you can understand this concept of like how you formulate the thoughts in your mind is what controls your reality. This one looks like a cool Egyptian kind of eye, doesn't it? Love it. Who knew a mushroom could turn into an eye? Once we finish all the mushroom insides, we can go a little closer with things. Maybe I'll dip in right there. Okay. So to summarize that one, be the boss of your thoughts. Like a situation might be impacting you badly. For example, the bus is late. I'm now going to be late for where I'm going. That is awful. That is terrible. That is the worst thing ever. Or you can just have a little more acceptance with it and realize that's the situation. You can apologize if you have held someone up. But remember, if your intentions were as best as they could be, so you did get to the bus stop on time, you tried everything within your power to make it, you can't control everything, and your unhappiness is then caused by what you're telling yourself about the situation. You know what I mean? It can be hard to think about that because it's easy to place blame on ourselves. But I really think he is right when he said the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts around it. Because I might miss the bus and be like, woohoo, an extra 10 minutes to play on my phone or whatever it is that I'm doing. Whereas someone might say, I wanted to play on my phone once I got there and now I have to do it now. So what, man? Whatever. Let's go closer. Okay, we've had a little zoom in. Eckhart obviously explains that much more articulately and beautifully than I am, but I just kind of want to give you a high level of these points, and you're always welcome to dive deeper into the ones that resonate with you. So another one of my favorite things that kind of have to be in the right bad mood for this to hit, but it's that time doesn't stop while you have an attitude. Like sometimes when I'm in a bad mood, I kind of go right into this victim, oh my gosh, like this is so annoying that this is happening to me kind of situation, which is fair. Like I think those thoughts can be given a little airtime, but not too much. I usually give myself a kind of timer for how long I can feel those things, and it depends on what exactly it is, the circumstances, blah, blah, blah. But it might range from anywhere from, okay, I can have that mindset for 10 minutes, an hour, till the end of the week. Whatever makes sense for you at the time. But the reason for the time constraint is that time does not stop while you are having that attitude. while you are, other people are making moves, pushing forward, enjoying life, just being grateful about the little things, and you are missing out on that with your attitude. So try and get back to it as soon as you can. Believe it or not, you can control how you feel, which honestly it took me so long to believe that. I would always kind of wait for an external force to change how I felt until I realized that I saw clouds and I thought, okay, well, we're going to post up in these clouds because they're here. And I was not transcending my resistance enough to realize, Lizzie, you can also look for a place in the clouds where the sun comes through, or you can also get above them. And that is so limiting and was just negatively impacting me. And as soon as I kind of had, not as soon as I had that realization, it's not an overnight thing, but once I started realizing that that was the truth, I became much more open to the whole transcending of it all, because time does not stop while you have an attitude. Very important. Okay, we're gonna do our first silver outline now. Get into this one here. It's the end of the day, so it's a little colder lighting than it might usually be. I'm gonna come down here through this little gap as best I can, like so. And then go around and do the rest. So on this note, Eckhart Tolle also said it's not uncommon for people to spend their whole lives waiting to start living, which is exactly this idea of kind of waiting for someone to save them from the bad mood or alter their circumstances. And if you haven't noticed by the theme of what we're saying, it really does come from within and your outlook on a situation. We don't have a round two in life, you know? Like, yes, there are lots of weeks and there's lots of moments, but how exactly one goes is really dependent on your attitude toward it, and you can't have it back. You can't say, oh gosh, you know what, I really missed that whole positive thing happening to me, or sometimes positivity is disguised, I'm aware, but because you had a bad mood or an attitude. And so it's in your best interest to make the most of everything with the addition of those little time allowances for a mood, I think. Anyways, this is all very mindfulness oriented, which is how I roll, of course, and I think is very helpful. But sometimes it really helps to just, when I'm in a bad mood, break it down into the kind of more digestible, like, pieces of reality. So Michael Singer, whose book Untethered Soul is really, really fabulous and is actually completely on mindfulness, but said, there's no reason to constantly attempt to figure stuff out. And that one, for some reason, just hit me so much. Sometimes I think a lot of our stress and frustration and bad mood can come from trying to work out, you know, why did this person do that? Or why did this happen to me? And all these kinds of things. And for what? Like, are we ever going to know the answers to everything? No. And then that would make things a bit boring too. I love when stuff gets revealed later on in life. It's kind of like you're part of this whole big storybook. Oh, am I in the page? Let's move this here. So give your life a little space to have mystery and things to be found out later, and there's no reason to always have to try and figure stuff out. That's very exhausting for our little brains. I like the example of once my friend, someone had me send some food to her through, so that she didn't know who it was. And she was so concerned on figuring it out that she then called the place, found out the order, blah, 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 blah. And it took away the kind of joy and the mystery that she had this secret admirer. And I don't know if she actually cared to know or not, but if it was me, I wouldn't want to know, because I think it was kind of fun that it was secret and so unknown, and the wanting to know stressed her out so much from what she had said. And to not have that stress, she could have said, you know what, I'm just gonna enjoy this free lunch I got. Crisp up that corner, or actually kind of wave it out. I don't think she was in a bad mood about that, but that's the example that came to me in my little head at this time. So also, I recently heard, and I don't know who to attribute this to, I think I probably saw it on TikTok, is that ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision. So sometimes there are a lot of things you're just not going to be ready for. If it's something you're not looking forward to, you're not one day, I mean, maybe, but we're not holding out for this. I'm gonna say, oh, I'm totally in the mood to pay my taxes, or I'm so in the mood to go through my health insurance for 2026 and pick a new plan, like riveting stuff. Never. Literally never. Never, ever, ever would I feel that way, specifically about the health insurance thing. But sometimes, to get it out of the way, we have to just decide what's happening right now. And then it gets it off your plate, and you have kind of less to stress about. Oh, what have I done? And you can just keep it pushing. Sometimes, oh God. Wow, that didn't smudge anything. Wasn't expecting that. So in relating this idea of ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision about a bad mood, bad moods can linger for so long, and you're not always going to feel like you're ready to get out of it. You might not have the external thing that's pulling you out, and that might not ever come, because again, it's about how you perceive things and how it's going on in your mind. And you just have to decide, I'm over this mood. We're moving above the clouds. This is enough. And I'm tired of feeling this way. We're going to go find some sunshine. Am I right? Yes. 100%. What's with the British accent? Not sure. Okay, we now have one round around all of our mushrooms. So it looks a bit like this. Very exciting. And now let's actually do this little corner first, and then we'll move on to the rest of things. But this one just feels irresistible to me. I also want to disclaim that when huge life things happen, being upset about them is not the kind of bad mood I'm talking about. I'm talking about one of those moods where you're just like, I'm just in one. Obviously, if something super major has happened, there can be huge effects that aren't so simple as, well, just change your mind about it. We're just talking about those silly, annoying little bad moods today. I mean, well, yeah, we're going to leave it at that and move on to our next thought process. But first, I want to work out what to do, because this space here is a little too thin for, there you go, no, I think we can go through it actually. So let's do that now. Let's take our silver and go around this mushroom here, get that sorted. Where is the edge of our page? And then it's going to come out. Oh no, it's going to go all the way through. Ooh, math. Let's go the other side, shall we? Sure. Anyways, I just like to think of us as strong enough to be able to surpass these unnecessary feelings that are bringing us down. Because we do have the power for it. I believe it. I'm going to go through like this, and because it's touching the silver there, I'm going to do something totally crazy and put my gold in here. Just so this is kind of best of both worlds. Okay, now, I think we're going to do a gold around like this. Yes, let's do that. So that's going to mean, or is the focus on? I never know. Coming into this corner, through here. See, this is why I don't always do the alternating of colors, because it can be a little confusing on how to balance it, and then that does take me out of the zone a bit. Although, I could just not care about it being in an order, and it's just kind of, it falls how it falls, which is an option too. But I know that many of you get stressed out when the pattern isn't so clear, so I just don't want to trigger anybody. I'm going to go back and add some silver, kind of bronzify these overlapping bits. I haven't really done something like this before, so I'm enjoying trying something new. And then this is going to make more sense for my hand if we come around this way. And in there we can pop some silver. And I'm kind of just like letting it bleed out where it feels right. And then we'll pick up the gold. So back onto our thoughts, which, if one hasn't hit you yet, that's okay. Your mood is just mooding, and you know, I think by even watching this video, you're doing great. We can only try our best. One of the reasons I love the internet, even though there are lots of things I don't like about it, of course, but one thing I really love about it, in the theme of gratitude, is that I can see thoughts from other people that I would have never experienced otherwise. And when I like the thought processes of someone in particular, I can follow them. I guess maybe I'm talking about social media specifically, and learn more of their thoughts. And someone whose thoughts I love so much is an account called We Think Deeply on Instagram, who posts these really beautiful quotes and concepts, often kind of really simply illustrated. And I love them so much. I don't know where they get them from. I don't know if they make them up or find them places. I have no idea. But the point is, I always, when I see them, it's often a carousel of thoughts. I stop and read them all. And I find that so many of them hit and make me feel better. And one that I would love to share with you today is, there's a future version of you absolutely begging you to enjoy where you are right now. And this is kind of on that theme we've talked about before of like, when you're much older and you can't do the things you're doing now, maybe, God forbid, I'll lose dexterity in my hands and I won't find the same joy in painting like this. maybe I won't have such good eyesight. Maybe, I don't know, something could happen. I could not have access to this apartment because I've moved, and maybe I love my future home, but I do miss the feeling of this apartment. Whatever it is, there's something about every present moment that your future self is going to miss and be nostalgic for. And I think what's so sticky about nostalgia is that you don't, like, at least for me, I always feel like, oh my gosh, I really, really wish I appreciated that moment to the max in the time. And you kind of have a longing for wanting to have as much gratitude for it in the moment and wishing you did and all that. I actually was recently writing about something in my letters to my future self journal, and it was real. I just love that this thing is happening, and I wrote to myself, to my future self, don't worry, I am fully appreciating this in the moment. And I feel like I'll be glad I said that, because I can imagine looking back and being like, oh, you had it so good at this time, I hope you appreciated it. Yes, future me, I'm appreciating it. Thank you so much. So anyways, that's my thought there. It can be really hard to see, like, for example, I don't know, maybe you feel really stressed out by someone or some circumstance and things aren't how you want them, and you feel stifled and cluttered and uncomfortable. Also fair, but maybe you have a really cool outfit on. It could be the smallest thing, and maybe one day you go on holiday and you lose the shirt you're wearing, or you no longer fit into something, or you get a stain on it. Many things don't last forever, and your happiest version of yourself wants you to notice the little things that you can appreciate in this moment. And I think noticing the little things, however tiny, are the kind of building blocks for climbing your way up to see over this wall of bad mood and into better mood. So, can you think of something right now that you appreciate about this moment? Yes, you can. I promise you can. Maybe it's that you're sitting on a comfy chair, and in a few weeks, maybe you'll be flying somewhere for the holiday, and you're going to be in a really uncomfy plane chair, and you're going to say, oh, remember when I was lying on my couch watching that stupid YouTube video, and I was so angry, but I was at least so comfortable. I wish I appreciated that I was more comfortable. These are your building blocks for anti-bad mood, and you have access to them, I promise. So you better think of something, and you better be nice. Anyways, okay, so look how this is looking, shimmer-wise. Isn't that cool? I love this paint. We're gonna take the silver around our mushroom. Boop. This is the first time that what is about to happen is going to happen, and I have been waiting for this. I can't wait. We're going to get into the gold while the silver is still wet and let them touch like that, because they kind of naturally would at this point to continue the flow of the painting. I love that. And then we're going to take it along down to this little area. Watch the silver come down as we do this. This space I think we can go through, so I'm going to go from that side and skinny brush it. That'll do. And then take this up. Oops, I still have some silver in my brush, see that? Whoa, have I been talking a lot? I think so. Well, hopefully at the very least I just distracted you from what's going on in your mind, which I'll take it. Okay, back around. I know I'm going to add some silver where that skinny part is. Don't worry, I just wanted to get around enough. Look at this tunnel. Clearly, I have some favorite shades. Put this in, make it a little bronze. Oh, it has dried slightly. So I'm going to get a damp, wet brush and just kind of adjust the edges to let it flow nicely. Okay, then we're going to return to our gold. So our next concept, we're getting close to the end of the concepts, is just honestly the concept of manifestation and how you can control what you want to happen next. Not that you can control the exact outcome. Like, I would love to say, oh my gosh, and I'll leave my house and my favorite car and a driver's license are just going to be sitting waiting for me on my road. Not like that. But I can use my mind to decide, okay, well, I want to, actually, I have no desire to drive. I can't even pretend, but for the sake of the example, let's say I did, I can say, okay, I am wanting to do that. I'm going to put my brain in that direction, and that's going to give me the power to make the steps I can to get there. I'm not expecting it to be plopped in my lap, but I'm making myself feel allowed to feel motivated by it, and that is what will carry me through. So anyways, Joel Osteen, I'm having a hard time with pronouncing today. What is going on? Said, what follows I am will come looking for you. So true. Let's do this little ghosty shape. It's total ghosty shape. Not before. Oh, this little triangle is gonna have silver here and then gold. This quote is so important in pertaining to getting out of bronzy for sure, a bad mood, because if you keep saying to yourself, I am so angry, I am so annoyed, I am so unfortunate, your brain doesn't know that that's not really happening to you. It just hears what you're saying and kind of acts accordingly. So, you feel tense, your cortisol is high, your muscles are frustrated and angry, your brow is furrowed, and it's just not a comfortable feeling. But if you say something as simple as, I am so awesome, I am going to get through this bad mood, I am allowing myself this one day to feel upset, and then I am going to get right on through it, that will follow you, and that is what will happen. Love this little ghost. Oops, I forgot to turn my focus on. So sorry. Hopefully that wasn't too painful to watch. So now we'll go up here. And this, what was a ghost, kind of just looks different now. Looks like a little, I don't know what it looks like. A magic carpet almost on the side. See that? Let's pointify this right here, and then let's get a tiny little bit of silver in the center. And then we have another blank space like that. Why don't we just work on that quickly? And I think we're going to have some combination connections here, which the more we go throughout the piece, the more of those we'll have. So will have a little bit of there. So I'm going to do this and all the silver parts, which will take us to here. And then the gold, I'm interested to see what combo shape this makes. In the center here we have our classic packet of crisps or pillow. And we can take on this side, which I'm pretty sure is gonna connect very smoothly with the silver side. Will it fill out the shape entirely? Honestly, maybe. Oh, yep. And I'll dot that just for fun. Ooh, that's so cool. I love that. All right, now let's go along the top. And so I'm going to turn the paper and so we can get to a better position for that. Can we all see this? You know, I don't love the crease of the page. Okay, I think this is gonna work. Just a thought, if I was a delicious chocolate mushroom, I would like this to be my packaging. Just saying. So we're going to carry on our gold. This paint is just so, not nad, by the way, I just love it. Just carries so well, it's so pigmented. It's handmade, which is why this happens, because the person who made it could be really conscious about getting enough pigment in the ratio of, let's take that along actually, of their concoction. And I think a lot of these, and that's why they're of course more expensive than something mass produced, and the reason they're cheaper is because there's less pigment in it. So I often get asked about my skincare routine. No, I'm just kidding. No one has ever asked about my skincare routine, probably because my skin's not great right now. But I don't really feel the need to be asked about my skincare routine. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh God. I might have lost it. It might come back. Who knows? We're not going to attach too much to the outcome. Oh, that is meant to be silver, actually. Let me put this back here. Let me try one more time. I'm going to come back on this from the top here. Oh, okay. I think that is pretty good. And then let's finish this corner while we are here. Oh, I also have glittery nails today. Oh, I was talking about, oh yes, we got it. I was talking about the paint. I'm often asked what paints I use. And I do really like to use the handmade ones because, or a Japanese watercolor, because they have really high pigmentation ratios. Because I find them the best quality. And I do see that you want me to find some more affordable recommendations, and I am so down to find some. I just need to do a little bit of research into them. But I will tell you right now, oops, the pearlescent palette from Artist Loft at Michael's is, I think, $6 last I checked, and I love it. I use that a lot. They have, it's not quite as pigmented, but it's extremely close, and they have really nice shimmery, sherbety rainbow shades. So that would be my rec. But as usual, all of my supplies are linked in my supply list in my bio. I'll link it in the bottom of this video too. And I will also link this brush, my favorite brush of all time. And I don't know if I have a link for this palette because I didn't order it. but if I find one, or at least the website for Lena Bean Studio is linked in the supply list too. So I finally, don't know why I didn't do this before, emailed Lamali Paris to see if they could give me a link to share this notebook with you. I don't even care if it's an affiliate link or not. I mean, I shouldn't say that. But I just, like, I get asked about it all the time. I just want you guys to be able to get it. And I can't even direct you to where to get it because someone bought it for me as a gift from a shop in Switzerland. But I feel so bad being like, oh yeah, I don't have a link. Like, I'm not gatekeeping. I just genuinely, they don't really supply much in the US and I don't know where to direct you, but just know that I am trying to work out a solution for that. No reply yet. Hopefully I get one day. I think I just sent it yesterday though. Maybe by the time this video posts, they'll have told me. That'd be clutch. I am going to receive an answer to that email. There we go. Look at me. Okay, this corner is a little hard. Okay, I have 2 more thoughts to share with you, but before I get into those, honestly, what gets me out of bad mood a lot is just sitting down with my little paints, listening to some songs I know I like, or a book that I can get lost in. I love stories, like, I don't know, just kind of, I love a whodunit novel or a romantic fiction, something or other, and memoirs, absolute fave genre. And just getting lost to the point where my rumination that's causing the bad mood is forced to hold up because I'm listening to this story. So, I don't know, I just feel like getting creative really helps with a mood shift, as does seeing a friend that you vibe with a lot. I actually posted a video that had this gold paint in it as well. It was of the Thanksgiving things earlier this week, where I discuss how you can, can I speak? What is going on? How Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving and holidays like this really, like, the reason we feel better after them is because they alter our nervous system. And one of the major ways it does that is by breaking up your rumination cycles. Like, when we're by ourselves, we can tell ourselves all kinds of lies and there's nothing to interrupt that. And it forces you to, like, remove yourself from that loop, that thinking loop. We're gonna add a little gold there, don't worry. And that's why we feel so good after these social interactions sometimes. I say sometimes because over-peopling is a thing, I know. But it's because we had a break from our own thoughts and our stories and whatever that doesn't even serve us at all. So I recommend you watch that too. The long version's on TikTok, and then the short one is also on TikTok and on Shorts right here. So, we're gonna have another connection point. I'm so excited. See, in this moment, I am choosing to be grateful about this connection. Someone and me in a different mood also could see this like, oh my gosh, my silver would run into that, it would ruin the pattern, blah, 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 blah. Or I can say, wait, how cool, I get to watch the paints blend together. That's nice. Also, major, huge, bold, underline, capital, italic disclaimer, I don't feel like I get this right all the time at all. I get in bad moods loads. I think that's just called the human condition. And I think if you don't get in bad moods sometimes, you might be lying to yourself a little bit. I've experienced people like that who just don't want to linger in anything negative, and I just feel like it kind of means you are lacking depth, because yin yang, like nothing is ever perfect all the time, and you're allowed to have feelings about that. What I don't recommend is lingering in those feelings, clearly. But yeah, that's my thoughts there. I'm just trying to tell you what I find helps me. And which of these thoughts specifically helps me depends on so many things, my mood at the time, and oh look, this is even naturally going to bleed because these have touched. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. Okay, let's move on to one of our last thoughts. Oh, Parmesan! Hello! Yeah, you can come sit with me. Of course. Move that around. Okay, one of my favorite podcasts to listen to, especially when I'm trying to get out of a bad mood and just want to shift my thinking into something that makes me feel more positive and encouraged, is Rise with Roxy, with Roxy Nafusi. I think she's fab, and she always talks about how rest is productive. Like, we are not computers, thank gosh, and we have to rest. It's actually going to... Hello, Parmesan, what's up? Parmesan is so orange today. I love that for you. And you're stuck in my... Okay, thank you. And I mean, I say this a lot too. Well, I say that rest is... I say that presence is productive, which is, you can be very present in your rest. It's like, it's all kind of the same thought school of thought. Is that a thought school? All I can think of is thought, T-H-O-T, a thought school. Oh God. Anyway, why that pertains to getting out of a bad mood is that sometimes nothing I say is just, or anyone says is going to help you. And you're like, yeah, okay, I will change my attitude and kind of like do everything we were saying before and shift my mindset to see the sun beyond the clouds and blah, 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 but I'm not there yet. I feel stressed right now. I feel unhappy, and I need to let that feeling flow, because if I stifle it, it's just going to pop back up, and that, as we were just saying, is not real life. So if what you need to do is rest, that's absolutely fine. We literally need to do that. Why is that helicopter so loud? Clouds are really nice right now. I wish you could see them, but then I'd be exposing my view. And Parmesan, you can't... Oh, she's come onto my lap. Hey, girl. How's it going? You want to sit with me? Sure, but don't move my arm because I'm trying to paint. Where was I? The point I'm trying to make is that if you feel rest is the best thing for you right now, you know yourself best, and it is. The only thing that is not going to work is if you do something rest-shaped, but you're not actually resting. You know what I mean? Like, hold on, really gotta focus. I don't even want to go into that little bit. I'm not going to. For example, you are gonna have a little doom scroll, and the whole time that you're scrolling, you feel bad about it, and you're like, I should probably be doing something else, and you just aren't actually recharging because your predominant feeling is guilt. That's not gonna help anybody. To avoid the doom part of the scroll, what I will do is I'll say, okay, I'm gonna set a timer for half an hour, whatever it is, the duration of this background episode, I don't know, whatever timing makes sense for you at the moment, and I'm going to really enjoy. And Parmesan, are you giving us a purr track in the background? I don't know if you can hear. at this time of day it's been getting a little chilly, and then she's like, oh my god, must sit on your lap, and I'm like, sure, Parm. Oh, not me doing it again. Oh my god. If it feels restful for you to play around on your phone, or maybe play The Sims, or do something that isn't quote unquote in a maybe corporate sense productive, but it's going to recharge you, lean into it and let it actually recharge you. Otherwise, you're just wasting time, you know? This corner is going to be so satisfying to do. Oh my gosh, do you know what I just realized? I'd wanted to do this video with my refillable brush because I've had a few questions on that. I actually don't use it too much, and I want to get more into it because the one that came with my Brighter Day palette has a really nice tip. I did some postcards with it, and I really liked it, and I'd wanted to use that for this, and I am clearly not. Oops. Oh well. If you want to see that, let me know. Because maybe you don't even, I'm saving everyone, but I actually think it would be great to do. Anyways, let me know what you think. No wrong answers. I'm gonna move around here. And then the silver, and then the last gold. And I love these little bits of turquoise that are poking out from below. Okay, now we're going to move, hey Parmesan, left to right down the page. So doing this middly bit and then this section here. This really looks like trippy, if trippy was visual. So we're going to do all our gold bits on this middle section up to here and down to here. Tonight I'm making Ina Garden's crispy mustard chicken. Again, been making it a lot because it's just so good and very easy. And I've already made the mixture, so I just need to coat my chicken and pop it in the oven. And I'm so excited. And I'm going to watch Dancing with the Stars because I am late on this week's episode, and that's going to be really lovely. I do have some work to do before I get to that part of my day, which I'll do after this, but I have that to power me through. So let's add our silver here, and then let's add our gold. And I see these little triangles right there. Can we add some silver into them? Rhetorical question. There we go. I think just that one though. That one feels a little too tiny. It'd be like pushing it. Okay, now this whole row is going to be gold. So let's re-up on that as we discuss one of my favorite quotes of all time, which I am aware I say a lot. I have a lot of favorites, but this one just fits so many situations and always makes me feel good. And we were just talking about food, so it's so fitting. But it's a Julia Child quote, and she says, "Everything in moderation, including moderation." And why I think that pertains so well to getting out of a bad mood is I find sometimes I just don't have enough freedom. I'm a pretty rigid person in terms of my flexibility and like personal boundaries with just, I don't know, habits and things in my life. And sometimes you just need to say, F that, throw it out the window, and have a nice big chocolate chip cookie. If you're in a bad mood and you want a chocolate chip cookie, having that chocolate chip cookie doesn't mean your entire meal plan is thrown off. It means you're giving yourself comfort in that specific moment. If you typically moderate things, Like, let's say you typically only spend 30 minutes a day on social, and today you want to just lie there and look at it for an hour and a half. You can. It's fine. It really doesn't matter. As long as you feel comfortable with the moderation that you usually do, and you chose that moderation because you ultimately decided it aligns with some goals you have for yourself, like not too much screen time or eating healthy or whatever it is. If you need a little pick-me-up to get out of your bad mood, you better take it because you deserve it. Parmesan, what's with the wiggling here? If it's gonna make you feel better to leave your house and go spend $11 on an iced latte, just go buy the iced latte. You're not gonna do it every day. You can trust yourself. But walking home with that iced latte in the sunshine, $11 poorer, if the pros outweigh the cons, everything in moderation, including moderation, throw your moderation out the window and do something that makes you happy. Is my closing thought on today. I'm gonna do this little corner. And there we have our mushrooms. Very interesting piece. Parmesan. Actually, let me show you what Parmesan's up to right now, because I'm gonna have to move to stand up and show you the whole piece, and then she's gonna run away and it's gonna be a whole thing. Oh, she's tucking. I mean, she's very cozy. Okay, let's look at this. We're gonna get up, Parmy. Here it is. I really like the spacing between the gold and the silver in this piece, and I love how it's not overwhelmingly blended. So when we do have these little bits of blend, it's really exciting. It's kind of like a little bit of an I Spy looking for them. How unreal is this paint? Like, this is watercolor paint. Crazy. Obsessed. I'll show you what I just made. You will have probably seen this by now too, but this is a shimmery paint as well. I'm really into shimmery right now. It's Ocean Mica from my Lizzie Phoenix palette. Oop. That's not my Lizzie Phoenix palette. This is my Lizzie Phoenix palette. Favorite colors was this one. What else have we got? We have some nice Greek kind of spirals. Oh, and here's the Thanksgiving one I was talking about. So look for this and it'll tell you about the resetting the nervous system and all that. Anyways, I hope at the very least that you rested during watching this or got some creativity out as you painted along. Remember, you are the sky. Everything else is the weather and the clouds. And you can have your bad mood for as long as you want, but don't have it for too long, because the only person that's punishing is you. So, the sky is so nice and pink right now, I want to show you so bad. Maybe I can kinda. That'll be my closing thought. Alright, obviously the colors don't come out so cool through the YouTube, but I mean, it gets more colorful as it moves down, but I don't want to show you any buildings, stalkers and all that. So, thanks for